I went down earlier this afternoon mid-afternoon to cull Mrs Cuckoo Maran. I took Mark with me for moral support. I watched a video on YouTube so I knew what to do. And I picked her up and held her and said to Mark, I want you there, but you don't need to watch. I'll go in and do it out of your sight. Oh, shush. Walked into the shed beside the sheep shelter and got her in position and held her head and thought, I'm not going to be able to do this because my hands and wrist are not strong enough to be sure that I can do it successfully, and the worst thing would be to injure her but not kill her, and I couldn't do it. And I just felt awful. It was a real problem to make the decision, and I thought I must do it. It's not fair. She doesn't seem distressed, but it's not fair. She's really not very mobile, and it just isn't fair to keep her alive because she's cute, because that's what we're doing. It's because we think she is cute, and but it just feels wrong to keep her going for those reasons. So anyway, she's alive. She's alive. And I'd say alive and kicking, but she's not because she can't move her legs properly. It's a bit annoying, really, because I had girded my loins and was going to do it. What do you want? Do you want to come up? No? What time is it? That's 9:30. 10:30, isn't it? But if I pick you up, you're going to run away, aren't you? If I pick you up. Well, what are you going to do? Is it time for treats? Is that what this is about? Oh. You've been guarding a blanket. Go on, it's too early. I know it doesn't feel like it, but it is. So that didn't work. I did the fish, did the cod in parsley sauce. I said to Mark later, was your dinner all right? He went, nice parsley sauce. I thought, well, what does that mean? And he doesn't really like fish done like that. I quite like it, but it's not something I do very often. But he likes his fish to be as, fish and chip style, fish and chips. And when I bought the fish the other day, that wasn't my intention. I hadn't got an intention of how I was going to cook it. I would normally fry fish, but I thought, oh no, I'll do it. So I did it on papillon in the oven, and then parsley sauce, carrots, broccoli, and a couple of boiled potatoes. But he didn't really like it. He said it was a bit bland. I went, well, it's invalid food, and you're an invalid, so I won't do that again. But it was a nice piece of cod, and I enjoyed it. And we got some vegetables left over that I'm going to have to use up. And we had some parsley sauce left over, which I've frozen. And I had some chopped parsley left over that I've frozen. As I said earlier, I struggled with the dishwasher, so I got him to sort the dishwasher out this evening. I don't know why I'm struggling. And we've sat and watched The West Wing, a couple of episodes of that. And we're only managing a couple of episodes at a time because it's quite intense. Because it's very fast dialogue, so it's quite intense. And some of the time you don't know what's going on, but you know that eventually you'll work out what's going on. We sat outside and I've read been reading a really twisted book. I've just finished it. It's by Dawn French. I've just finished. It's the second one I've just read of hers. The first one I read was a bit iffy for people. When I look at the reviews, the first one I read was called Because of You, and I'll let you read about it rather than me tell you about it. But that had some I I was entertained by it and moved by it, but having not been in either of the situations in it, it didn't actually bring stuff up for me, but actually it probably triggered people. But the one I've just finished reading is by Dawn French. It was called According to Yes. It was so twisted, and for the first part, the sense of this woman is Rose, who is 28, and she's gone off to New York to be like a governess, like a teacher for two 8-year-olds, for 8-year-old twins, in an apartment within a rich family, sort of New Hampshire, New England style people. And the matriarch is a sort of really uptight, waspy New England, New Hampshire woman. And it's really interesting. And the Rose character, who is the protagonist, had some Vicar of Dibley vibes for me. So it was very Vicar of Dibley sort of humour and quirkiness, and the description of the character is sort of big like Dawn, with red hair, but a big voluptuous woman. And the storyline is just it's a bit creepy to begin with, and you think, oh my God, really? And then it becomes intriguing, and you're thinking, what? And you want to know what's going on, and you want to know what's happened. So I found it enjoyable, but again, I've looked at some reviews on Goodreads, and a lot of people didn't find it enjoyable. I don't think it's one that will trigger anybody, but it sort of pushes the realms of believability. So I've just finished reading that, and I'm about to read a book I've read before, because I was remembering it the other day. On the West Wing, they were choosing or nominating, putting forward a judge for the Supreme Court. And of course, my first experience, understanding of that, was watching when Trump was in power and Kavanaugh was being pushed as a nominee. That was awful, wasn't it? Absolutely awful watching that. And I can't remember the name of the woman who, at the end of the pregnancy, at the end of the presidency, Trump pushed her through really quickly. But so that was my first experience of that. And then they've been talking about and doing that on the West Wing. And it reminded me that I'd read a book, and I had to pull that from the depths of my brain. And the book I read was The Appeal by John Grisham. So I read that, I think, in 2019, so 5 years ago. Yeah, 5 years ago. So I'm just about to start that again. I remember it being a good book. It is about a guy, a lawyer, being groomed to be put forward for the Supreme Court. So that'll be interesting to read it with a different. What I like about my daughter takes the piss when I say I read a book again. She goes, "What do you mean read it again?" But it's like when you read a book again, depending on the length of time since you've read it, or whatever, you read it differently, and you've got a different opinion, or you might know something more. That's what we like to do. So that's what I'm going to do. What? I'm not coming to do treats. You're just going to have to delay, like we did today, and get used to the time change, aren't you? And don't blink at me like that. It doesn't work. So yeah, so it's 20 to 10, 20 to 11, 20 to 10. I'm looking forward to going to bed. She's looking forward to having her treats. She's not going to get them, but she just nags and nags. But she understands no, because if I really shout no at her, she goes away. And then she goes and lays down. Then she settles down. And then when I go out and make noises and do her treats, she just lays where she is. Ignores me. Go on, go away. No. 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 Right, okay. That's what we've done. And somebody has mentioned that young puppies lose their teeth between certain ages. I thought this was an older dog than Lancelot. I must have been wrong. So yeah, that's good. Let's hope it was the milk teeth. It's the milk teeth that are missing. Bye.